Hi everyone, Kelvin here from London. Going to do a review today essentially of this quad 306, but I'm going to compare it with these two power amps and using that Linn Wakonda preamp. So you'll get to hear what this sounds like and also how it compares to these more modern power amps. So yeah, 306. This was made from 86 to 90, 50 watts a channel. Naim NAP 100, 50 watts a channel, probably 2013. And this Heed Obelisk, I think is younger, maybe 2018, and that is 60 watts a channel. Let me give you a good look at this. You know, the whole quad, people say quad is boring. I think it's just the look, because the sound isn't boring, I can tell you. I mean, I feel like this is just a misnomer. Just an interesting point worth noting on the back there, those speaker terminals are the wrong way round. You know, the left is not on the left and the right is, they're on the wrong way sides. So that could mislead you if you didn't know. Huntingdon, made in Huntingdon, England, that one. Just to say, so I put everything through this Linn Wakonda preamp. This is a polite, detailed thing. It's not a game-changing preamp. It's not a blow your brains out preamp like most preamps aren't. But you know, it's a tame, polite, not a problem child. Doesn't have some funny orientation or any kind of problem like that. So you know, kind of neutral, let's say. Okay. Let's try and talk about the sound. Did I give you prices? Like second hand, that's about 250, 250, but it's 1986, let's say, 88. That's about 350, and I think this is probably more. This could be like 500-600 easily, I think. And that Linn is probably 150, 200. And I'm streaming through qobuz through my Node 2.0 streamer. Okay, let's do this sound. Now, I always land up saying that the old sound is better, or vintage stuff is good, and blah, 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 blah. And guess what? It just happened again. And I'm almost annoyed about it, because I keep wanting to find modern gear that's really good. Let me clarify. There's not massive amounts in it, but there are significant sound differences here. This quad has much better, I just got to say that, it's got better low and mid bass. I call that bass landscape, meaning, you know, it's three-dimensional in the bass. The bass is in a room, the bass has got dynamics. So I'm playing a Walk on the Wild Side, Lou Reed. This is a song I'm playing so much I know every note of that song now, right? It's got this upright bass. Boom, boom, boom. Now that's quite an explosive thing. If you were in the room with that bass, you know, you're plucking that string and letting it go, you know. Now this is the one that really gives me the boom, boom, boom. Really giving me the expand and contraction of that bass. Now I'm going to kind of talk about these two almost in the same light, because they are similar. These are really the modern sound, you know. I'm going to presume that the components that are gettable or that people are using, or maybe they're the cheaper components. I mean, I don't know. There's a whole world there and a lot of conjecture. But these really sound, have the modern sound, and this really has the older sound, even though it actually goes up to 1990. But this has the life, the expressiveness. Now, you might call these two more controlled. And if you were really to play loud, or you had certain types of speakers, say, you know, I don't know, big JBLs or something, you might like this controlled sound. But let me do some more songs. So I'm listening to Diana Krall, A Case of You live. This has a big piano intro. Now, all I'll tell you is I listen to that, so I'm literally playing the same song and changing the amps. Play about 3 or 4 songs, then change the amp. Same 3 or 4 songs. I didn't notice how good or interesting the piano intro was for that song on these two. I mean, I heard it and I listened to it and I observed it. But when it's on here, because there's like, it's got a lot of low notes, I can picture the room, the space is setting the atmosphere. It's just like taking me, giving me a deeper picture of the production, microphones, what they are trying to do with that sound. I mean, these two are presenting me with a whole load of detail, no problem. No problem. They're class. These are not underrated things. Everyone thinks these are good. It's just a tiny sheen across everything. Just a tiny sheen across everything. So that song, Diana Krall, when she sings, it's just a little bit more involving. Here, I feel like I've got Diana Krall singing to me, literally. Like she's talking, she's singing it for me, and she's in my living room. On these, yeah, she's singing it great. She's singing it on a hi-fi. There's just that sense of removal. Now I was trying to work out what is it, in complete technical terms, what I'm trying to describe here. Now I think this may do it for you. When someone is singing and they sing loud and then it tails off. When it tails off and it's just as clear and expressive right to the last breath, the last bit of that note, that's the thing that gets you. That's the thing that makes it real. And if that is, there's a sort of a control, too much control in an amplifier, that little tail off bit just gets kind of diminished, or the air goes out of it. I mean, tell me if this makes sense, what I'm trying to say, if you're understanding me, because, it's hard to explain. But, okay, do some songs here. Shine On You, Crazy Diamond, Pink Floyd. A nice atmosphere is a great song. Nice atmosphere, involving, I got more involved. It's just a bit more real. It's kind of boring, really, in a way. I want to say this one is more real. It's got better bass definition, bass and mid bass. If I wanted to be critical of this, of course it's not the best power amp on earth, but it delivers. If I want to be critical of this, certain things in the snare drums, kind of particularly the snare drums, maybe it's a bit fatter than it should. So these might have a bit more precise. They'd be orientated towards the cutting edge of the sound more. This is more orientated. This makes everything seems a bit more solid. And in voices, that's what you want. But maybe sort of like high-speed music, I don't know, jazz, fast on the drums, stuff like that. Maybe that would define it. These would define it a bit more precisely. But as far as sort of space and realism go, I'm afraid that is it, So I'm kind of, it's like, oh, the same thing happened again. The old one is better. So, I find this annoying. Where's the progress? Can't we have progress? Or just make another one like this? This would be good. Let's just say a few things about, this is a Quad 306. The 405, I did hear the 405 years ago and I wasn't impressed by it. And no one else seems to be impressed by the 405. I mean, it's probably fine, but it doesn't seem to have a lot of love for it. The 303, which is older, even late 60s, that's a sort of classic thing too, that's highly rated. Lower power, 30 watts. Now, preamp wise, I would not. I mean, I'm a fan of older power amps, but I'm never a fan. I never find older preamps to be superior. Most times I don't. Most times I don't. So, you know, the Quad 303, which is the older preamp, I think it's just a little bit dull. Just to put it simply, you know. And I'm not super experienced on those, but what I would say is, if you're going to get that, I wouldn't necessarily partner it with the older quad preamp. I always like an older power amp and a more modern preamp. I think that's a fine idea. But this 306 is kind of, I mean, you say under the radar, no one knows about it too much. Other things have stolen its thunder. Maybe the time it came out, I don't know, other things were getting better publicity. But look, that is a cracking bit of kit. Cracking bit of kit. And the only downside I would say is, if you were playing really loudly, if you wanted to go really loud, the control that you get on these two would probably win. And if you went really loud if you were playing really loud on this, I can imagine it, you know, I'm not going to say the word shouty, but just, you know, because of that space and air and sort of uncontrolledness, that works when you're not playing too loud, because you're getting all the little details. The end of everything is just there and not getting restricted at all. But when you go louder, maybe the sort of the end of every note is a little bit bigger maybe than it should be. And yeah, is this making sense? But I'm loving this amp, and I very rarely play very loud, but I think if I was, I'd want that. But for normal volumes, voices are great. Lower mid bass are superior to those two, and you know, top end is fine. It's there. It's probably not full of air and, you know, the massively spacious at the top, kind of orientated mid to bottom end, but the top end is there. Of course, it's there and it's fine. Solid. Voices are solid. Instruments are solid. Guitars, ride cymbals, solid. I feel like with this, it's like it's a hollow vessel. It's like the music's just gone straight through it and coming out. I literally, that is a thing that I've experienced before. Also with the Quad 303, you kind of pay no attention to it. That's a good point. You kind of pay no attention to it, and you feel like you're just listening to the music, which is what you want. Okay, I think that's it. Do like and subscribe. Please actually like and subscribe, because I get more subscribers, but for some reason they don't go up. I don't know what's going on. People could be unsubscribing, but I know YouTube do some funny things and no one really knows what's going on. But if you could subscribe, that would be great. What else have I got? A few extra bits. Sorry. This Naim might like a valve preamp. I thought that was worth saying. Yeah, the Naim is more restrained. Blah, 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 blah. Quad could have more top end. Yeah, I keep thinking the older one won't be the best one, but it just is. And I'm always going to tell you the truth, even though you probably have a hard time or a harder time trying to buy one of these. You could buy one of these easy peasy, and those I think you can buy new or nearly new. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.